Thank you, Mr. President, and Foreign Minister Rasmussen. And it is also excellent to see the presence of Special Envoy Boulos with us today. I pay tribute to his work and, of course, the work of Personal Envoy Harvisto and all those working for peace in Sudan. More than 2/3 of the people of Sudan are in desperate need of life-saving support. And as USG DiCarlo has described, 1,400 civilian deaths in the first half of this year, the vast majority, more than 1,100, caused by drone strikes. In North Kordofan's El Obeid, drones are striking markets, fuel stations, vital power and water infrastructure. Fighting has driven 15,000 families into the city since mid-July, placing even more pressure on displacement sites and services already pushed to the breaking point. More airstrikes southwest of the city have taken place in the last 72 hours. Humanitarians are seizing every opportunity to reach those in need, but we need protection for civilians. We need de-escalation. In South Kordofan, Dilling and Kadugli have been among our key priorities. Both are now accessible, although road conditions are deteriorating as the rainy season takes hold. Similar challenges are reported in the eastern part of South Kordofan, which also hosts significant numbers of displaced people. I'm also worried about West Kordofan, which has been the epicenter of a recent cholera outbreak, and where our presence remains limited. In the Nuba Mountains, in the southern part of South Kordofan, intensifying violence is severing communities from help in an area already plagued by chronic food insecurity. Our humanitarian facilities have been breached and looted, and many aid workers detained. Access remains disrupted by the fighting. Further east, renewed fighting in Blue Nile has displaced thousands in the last 2 weeks, just as heavy rains batter the region. Blue Nile now hosts more than 370,000 displaced people. Some have fled into Ethiopia, a stark reminder of how this war is spilling across Sudan's borders. There have been renewed attacks on the border towns of Gaisan and Kurmuk. Our humanitarian coordinator was able to visit the state capital, Ed Damascene, in late July. Meanwhile, ground fighting and drone strikes continue to cripple humanitarian access in the northwestern part of North Darfur state, while the rains make critical routes more difficult, even more difficult to access. Elsewhere in Darfur, hundreds of thousands who fled the atrocities in Al-Fasher last year remain in desperate need in places like Tawila, a reality I witnessed firsthand on my recent visit. Mr. President, across Sudan, our teams navigate front lines, drone attacks, insecurity, bureaucratic red tape. Despite these challenges, humanitarians continue to push through. By mid-year, we'd reached nearly 11 million people with at least one form of help, 52% of our prioritized target. We're on track with our effort to reach 11.4 million with food, but off track on education, health, shelter, and water. A key part of the humanitarian reset has been the prioritization of people experiencing the highest levels of intersectoral need and responding in a more integrated way. So I want to thank the humanitarians involved in the collective, coordinated effort who have reached 1.7 million people in the catastrophic intersectoral severity category, what we call category 5, exceeding the 1.5 million targeted, with particular progress in Tawila and Kadugli. We've expanded humanitarian air services, shifted more capacity from Port Sudan Khartoum, bringing our operations closer to those we serve. And we've removed duplication and bureaucracy. I'm also pleased to report that we've made real sustained progress since I last briefed you in reducing bureaucratic obstacles to our operations. I thank all those involved. I thank the Sudanese authorities too, and the government of Chad for keeping the crucial Adre crossing open, enabling us to reach millions across Darfur. We will continue to work hard with the authorities to streamline bureaucracy and increase access throughout Sudan. The challenges remain immense, but we are staying and we are delivering. Mr. President, we were heartened by the pledges at the Berlin conference in April, and we are grateful to the donors backing the coordinated response, including through the Sudan Humanitarian Fund. Our top 10 donors are the US with almost half of the funding, the EU, Africa Development Bank, UK, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland, France, and Norway. But 2/3 of the way through the year, we've received just over 40% of the $2.87 billion required for the hyper-prioritized plan, focused exclusively on the most urgent life-saving work. And funding for the regional response plan is even lower. Only 17% of the $1.59 billion needed to support 7 neighboring countries has been met. Refugees and displaced inside Sudan are also being squeezed by these shortfalls. Despite immense pressure, Sudan continues to keep its doors open to those seeking safety. Mr. President, I usually end these briefings with 3 asks: uphold international humanitarian law, fund the response, help end the conflict. But today, I won't, because this council has heard those asks again and again. Instead, the ask is that we do not have another meeting where the council simply describes the problem. Sudan does not suffer from a lack of analysis. It suffers from a lack of action. The people of Sudan need food, water, and medicine, yet the world sends drones, weapons, and mercenaries. The people of Sudan need sustained, courageous diplomacy, yet the world is too often indifferent and distracted. The people of Sudan need peace and dignity, yet others use Sudan's land and people as pieces in a regional struggle for power, gold, and pride. This council is not powerless. The international community is not powerless. The tragedy of Sudan is not that we do not know what to do. It is that we have not yet found the will to do it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank Mr. Fletcher for his